About a week ago, I made that video discussing the theory of Spider-Man becoming Venom. Or let me be a little bit more specific, Peter Parker becoming Venom in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. For those of you that don't know, the PlayStation Showcase gameplay for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 concluded with a very ominous line.
Let's go, man, before he gets too far.
No. He's mine.
You sure? He's got big teeth.
So do I.
And that, along with the way that Peter was behaving, got everybody riled up and talking about the fact that Pete is going to be becoming Venom. I personally talked about how I really hope that is not the case, because personally for me, I think Peter Parker should never step over that line and fully embrace the symbiote. I think that the whole idea behind it is that he does get very, very enticed to become Venom or become something like Venom, but then ultimately, because of his own set of morals and ethics, he always steps away. And that was that. I then, a few days later, went ahead and put together a video that was talking about the symbiote suits that I hope to see in this game, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, check it out. Thank you so very much for your support. But during that video, I started to do a little bit more research about Spectacular Spider-Man, because I'd remembered the designs of Spectacular Spider-Man and what they did with the symbiote suit there. And then things started to click for me. You know how the first time that we see the symbiote suit, it has this very grizzled look and it looks very, very tendrily and very messy? What if that is actually supposed to be the quote-unquote Mark I, the first stage of the Venom and Spider-Man relationship? What if that is essentially kind of the two of them almost not embracing one another? You can almost see some hostility between the two elements present. Once that reception occurs, that's the actual suit that we see in the game, where it is very, very armor plated, but it still has that sort of tendril alien texture on the biceps, on the interior of the arm, on the legs, on the neck area, which is something that some people don't particularly like in this design. Many people are saying that they would much prefer the much smoother design, almost like the way that the armor plating looks, but if it was across the entire body of the character. In fact, I went into Photoshop and roughly edited the original promo image that we got of the symbiote suit to look a little bit more armor plated. And I gotta say, this thing is looking pretty stylish. If you remove the tendrily bits and you smooth out the musculature where those tendril areas are, it looks a lot like classic symbiote. And this is where this interesting quote comes up from Brian Intihar, who said the following to IGN when talking about the symbiote suit design. I will tell you that there's more to that suit than we've shown in terms of visuals, than we've shown in that particular gameplay reveal. Isn't that interesting? Could it be that the suit that Peter's currently wearing is going to evolve even further and maybe become even further armor plated, or more similar to what we think of when we think of the symbiote suit? And this is where I want to bring up Spectacular Spider-Man once again, because one of the things that I absolutely adored in that show that they did with the symbiote was that they showed the progression of Peter accepting the symbiote and the symbiote infecting him further and further, taking more and more control. Because initially when we see him with the symbiote suit, it almost looks like it's just layered over top of his regular costume. And then slowly but surely, as it seeps more and more into him, we notice that it becomes the main costume, with the Spider-Man costume underneath it almost entirely disappearing, and the spider logo on the chest getting a rework over the course of that evolution as well.
He's gonna wish he never came to New York.
And so that got me thinking, could it be that this is kind of what Insomniac is doing with their symbiote suit as well? Where initially we see that very, very first stage of the symbiote suit where there's a ton of hostility between Spider-Man and the symbiote, where they are not really like almost accepting of one another as hosts. Then we see the acceptance occur, and that's where the power fantasy of the symbiote begins. We see Spider-Man lay the smackdown on a bunch of Kraven's hunters. And so then maybe there's an additional stage after the one that we see that takes the suits to a more familiar place, one that most of us would identify more so as the classic symbiote costume. Because I think a lot of us assumed that the suit would possibly evolve into Venom with the way that things are kind of being planted in the trailer, but I almost wonder if that is a misdirection from Insomniac, where they're trying to make us think that that's the route that they're going, but instead they're going to go even more classic with the suit itself. And then ultimately when Pete and the symbiote have their divorce, quote unquote, we will then see the symbiote drop down to one Eddie Brock. So let me know what you guys think about this theory. I actually would love for this to be true. I need this to be true. I think that would be so freaking cool if we saw the kind of evolution that we saw in Spectacular Spider-Man present in Marvel Spider-Man as well. I think that that's such cool storytelling just visually without actually outright communicating things, which I think is super duper neat. So there you go. That's my pitch. Let me know if you guys like this idea or not down in the comment section below. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button. That would be very much appreciated. And in addition to all of that, as I had mentioned during this video, if you'd like to check out the video that I did for my top 5 and a bonus 6 costumes that I would like to see for the symbiote Spider-Man in Marvel Spider-Man 2, check out the video you're currently seeing on your screen. Thanks all for watching.